So here we have what the Italians call asparagi. Asparagi means asparagus. And when you go to the store and get this, you want to make sure that you're looking for asparagus that has no brown tips, that has very tightly closed tips. If those are open, you know that that is old asparagus. And some people like very thin asparagus, other people like chunkier. I like both types, so whatever you like, get in the grocery store. Then when you get it home, you want to take off that kind of hard area down at the stalk, and you can just break it. You see there's a natural breaking point for that. That's one way of doing it. But there are purists who insist that you would never do that. Instead, you need to peel. So if you want to peel asparagus just at the stalk area, just take your vegetable peeler and go around the base, just like that. And that takes off that outer layer of the more durable part of the asparagus. So however you want to do it. Now, there is another way to do this. If you want to steam asparagus, instead of doing any of those things, just put a 1-inch slit in the stalk of the asparagus, and that's going to allow it to cook a little easier. So those are 3 different versions, and you pick the way that you like. Come on over here with me. Here are several ways. The first way is to put the asparagus in a shallow pan, a sauté pan, and then cover it with water and bring it to the boil and use the 7-minute rule. And the 7-minute rule is this: you go beyond 7 minutes, you've overcooked the asparagus. And that's true for any green vegetable. So we want to bring that up to a boil. I'm going to give this a little bit of salt. And you notice I'm using a lot of water. And I do that so that the acids that are in the vegetables will leach out into the water and not cause the vegetables to turn gray. So that's important to know. So we're going to let that go. The other way is to get yourself a trusty little asparagus steamer. I always like these cute little gadgets in the kitchen. And then there's a basket, you see, that goes with it. And you put the asparagus in the basket. You don't want to put a lot of water in this pot. We have about 1.5 inches of water. When the water comes to a boil, put the basket in. This keeps the asparagus upright. Put the cover on a jar and let it go. And that's another great way to cook asparagus. I have a bowl of ice water ready to stop the cooking process. I want to stop the cooking process so that the vegetables will retain their nice green color and their crunch. So that's something that you should do in your kitchen as well. I'll know it's cooked by sticking a little knife right into the stalk. And if it goes in easily, I know that that's ready to go. So let me get my butter going in a pan. Want a little bit of butter there. And we want some more prosciutto. So here we have prosciutto again, and I'm just going to take it onto my cutting board and cut this up. Cut this up coarsely. And this is about 1/4 pound of prosciutto. And put that in with my butter. It's going in the pan. And we'll stir that around a little bit, get that going. If you didn't want to use butter with this, you could use a little bit of olive oil. So we want that to crisp up a little bit. Now I can turn my pasta water off because it's just an empty pan of water at the moment. And now we're going to take our asparagus out of this pan because it is done. Use 2 really sturdy spoons, and this is going to go right into the ice water. I'll bring that over so that you can see that. There it is. And you let that kind of cool down a bit. That'll stop the cooking and also allow you to handle it. And all you want to do is flavor that with your prosciutto. So you get that prosciutto nice and crispy, just like we did before for our sauce. And once it's cool enough to handle, take it out and put it on some paper towels. Put it on some paper towels, and you see how beautiful that color stayed. Then wipe it down. Just dry it off a little bit because you're going to be putting it in the oil or the butter. So wipe it off some. And I like to leave them whole. A lot of people like to cut these up, but I like to leave them whole. And then once the prosciutto is crispy, you take that asparagus and you put it gingerly into the pan with the asparagus, with the prosciutto. And you just let it cook a little while. Give it a little bit of pepper. Not too much salt, because remember, we have salt in the prosciutto. And then you serve this just the way it is with a little bit of, again, Parmigiano Reggiano cheese.